Hey there, this is Dr. Falcon, and today I'm going to discuss the best way to clean the Black & Decker Conical Burr grinder, which I reviewed previously on my website, which is Gibberish is My Native Language, is the title of it. The address is journal.drfalcon.com. So, as I talked about earlier, this is a really inexpensive Conical Burr grinder. It's probably one of the least expensive burr grinders you could get. And one of the drawbacks to this particular unit, because it's so inexpensive, is that there's a certain flaw in its design, which means that you really have to clean it on a regular basis. Now, of course, there are a couple of reasons that you should clean your grinder of any kind, whether it be a burr grinder or chopper grinder. One being, if you look in this receptacle here where the grinds go, even if you do a pretty good job of shaking all your coffee out, there's a residue that gets left behind, and these little coffee grounds get stuck in here too. And what happens is that if you don't grind coffee on a regular basis, this will actually get rancid inside. The oil from the coffee gets chopped up when you grind the beans up and sticks to the inside of this reservoir. So regardless of the design of your grinder, you should always take care to clean this receptacle where the grinds go in, as well as a hopper if it's a cone like detachable style. Now, this particular model just has a hatch, so you can just wipe it clean. Now, in either case, I want to let you know that you should not use dish detergent in order to clean this, as the dish soap and the residue can get left behind as well. So what I recommend, what I usually do, is I take a brush, such as the one that's included with the Black & Decker, and I clean the inside like this. I just sort of scrape all the grinds out. And then I'll take a paper towel and get some more of it out. And then after that, what I do is I just rinse it and then dry it with a paper towel and then let it air dry the rest of the way. And it's really just to sort of remove the oil from the inside of the plastic. Now, back to this particular model, there's some things that are really important to do in order to clean it so that it continues to operate. And in fact, before I figured out how to do this myself, I thought the unit had already broken. In reading reviews of this unit on Amazon.com and a couple other coffee sites, people say that it dies within a month or two of use and just stops grinding coffee. What that actually may have been is a flaw that I discovered in the design, whereas this little chute that I'm indicating with the brush, the opposing side on the grinder gets caked full of coffee grounds, and I'll show that in just a second. And what happens is that it gets impacted, and even if this is completely empty, it backs up all the coffee and then slows down the motor to the point where it sounds like it's dying. And so I'm curious how many of those people who gave negative reviews based on the longevity of this actually just had a really backed up grinder. So, as I said before, this is the area in which the coffee comes out of the grinder into the receptacle. And you'll need to take care to clean this area with your brush. This isn't that big of a deal, but if you don't do it on a regular basis, you can get some buildup here. You'll also want to do that on the lid. Not a big deal, but there's a little ridge in here and coffee can get stuck. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I want to show you the part that's really important to get, and then I'm going to show you the best way to clean it. Alright, so what we have here is that receptacle that I was telling you about. This is like the chute by which all the coffee comes out from the top. And as you can see, it's pretty blocked as it is. This whole rectangular area is where the coffee comes out, and it's pretty much caked in. Now, what's fucked up about this is that I just cleaned this less than a week ago. I clean it every Friday, so let's see, it's been 5 days. So just in that amount of time, it's already gotten caked over. So if you haven't cleaned this for a month or maybe even 2 months, depending on how much you use your grinder, this can become blocked to the point where you think it was broken. So let me show you the best way to clean that. The first thing I do is I use the included brush and I just start going at it. I also try to get in the ridge area. I don't know what the proper term for that is. I'm not really sure if it's important, but I tell you, after thinking it was broken the first time, I pretty much clean as much of this as I can. I also take time to clean the corners that are in the grinder. That's where that plastic hopper goes. The real reason to do that, aside from just being clean, is that the repository where ground coffee goes has to be flush in here, otherwise it doesn't trigger the safety mechanism. So you want to make sure that's clean as well. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit more. And then you have to do this part. You have to turn it over, tap it out, and then go back to work. And this may take a while, longer than it should. This is kind of a weird design. I'm not really sure why this particular grinder was designed this way, but this is a lot of maintenance given that it's a pretty basic grinder. So I'm scrubbing it out pretty good. I'm just going to tap it over one more time. And now I want to show you, after all that effort, there's still a fair amount of coffee caked in there. So I want to show you the other thing that you have to do. I use a metal barbecue skewer. Now you may have one that's made out of bamboo. You could use a toothpick. You could use a sharp knife. Anything with a fine point. So what you want to do is you want to take this device, whatever you use. Again, I'm using a metal barbecue skewer that I use on my grill. Sorry, camera work sucks. Anyway, and what you do is you literally have to chip away the caked on compacted coffee. And then you can use the brush again just to sort of get any loose material that's there. Now I have a theory that depending on the type of coffee grind that you use, like if you use a finer grind, I have a feeling that it gets caked in more quickly. I actually use a medium grind. So I'd be curious if any of my viewers out there who use this particular coffee grinder find that they have less obstruction with a finer grind or a coarser grind, and which one kind of gives them the least amount of trouble. And there we have it. It's unobstructed, and you can still see there's some coffee grounds around there, around this area. You know, just clean it up, but at that point it's just mostly for looks. This is the very important part here, this chute, and it needs to be clear for it to function properly. Anyway, this is Dr. Falcon. I'm just showing you the best way to clean the Black & Decker Conical Burr grinder. It's still a pretty good deal. It's around 20 to 30 bucks depending on where you get it. And so if you're tight on a budget, then if you just clean it on a regular basis, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on your use, it'll hopefully give you a pretty long lifetime. Anyway, this is Dr. Falcon. Check out my blog at journal.drfalcon.com, and thanks for watching.